Good evening, everyone. This is James at Lock in the Value talking to you today about the wonderful world of crypto. So, Copy My Crypto has gone live. It went live last night. Thrilled with how the launch is going. I can't wait to work with and share my portfolio with more of you and show you guys some exciting upcoming launches of products and some under the radar gems that are in the crypto market. And I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you guys as time moves along. There's currently one that has really piqued my interest, and I've been reading about it for about 2 days now. And if I'm consistently still feeling very bullish on it, it's going to be something that I not only invest in, but I will encourage other people to get in on. Um, so Copy My Crypto is $99 a month. However, for the next 6 days, you can get it at the price of $39 a month. So check out the link in the description. But now let's talk about this crypto market. And let's talk about some of the recent news. So there's a couple key things I want to cover. Firstly, let's just talk about the standard news. MicroStrategy bought another 205 Bitcoin. Of course they did. Of course they did. And the reason they're doing that is because this is a long-term plan for them to hold as much Bitcoin as they can because they see the intrinsic value of it as a store of value, not as a payment solution or anything like that, but they see it like how normal institutions have often viewed gold, and that's how they see it. And they're constantly buying up, and they're buying up in a dollar cost average way. If you actually think about what MicroStrategy have done, they bought tons when it was in the just in the between $10,000 and $20,000. They bought a bunch more between 20 and 30,000. They bought a bunch more at 30,000, and then they bought again at a current dip. If and I do think probably when Bitcoin dips down to about 43, 42, because it's going to test those resistance levels, I'm sure of it. What will happen then is they'll buy more, and we'll see another story of them buying more, along with other companies. We'll see Grayscale starting to buy more. I'm sure we'll see others getting in on it. We're already starting to see, um, was it Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan and all these companies starting to look into crypto and seeing it as a long-term potential. There's ETF ideas popping up everywhere. There almost certainly is going to end up being like a Bitcoin ETF in the US this year. Whether or not it's at the back end of this year or not, but that's going to happen. It's now widely becoming accepted as an investment for institutions, and crypto custody assets are popping up everywhere. So this is just news that continues, and it will continue throughout the cycle more and more and more and more. Um, Another piece of interesting news actually is Iran, a major think tank that's linked to the president of Iran, is talking about Iran mining crypto as a way of avoiding sanctions. This is something I think we're going to see a little more of over the course of the next few years because they've worked out that they can generate about $700 million in profit a year, like in revenue from just mining. And even transaction fees could get them 22 million as well. And that's US dollars. So that's very good for an economy that's struggling and that's dealing with sanctions that they can't avoid. So it will not surprise me if we start seeing more of these stories popping up around the world, especially within countries that have a weaker economy, and certainly within countries that are struggling in terms of dealing with sanctions from other countries and whether it's the EU or the US or whoever. I know EU isn't a country, but you know what I'm saying. Now, but it's good to see these stories popping up because it again brings cryptocurrency to the forefront of people's minds when it comes to the financial sector. Right. The other uh, thing I wanted to talk about before I talk about a little bit about the main story, but the crypto market still has a retracement coming, right? This is a tweet from someone called Justin Bennett FX. He posts actually a hell of a lot of good material in terms of analysis of cryptocurrencies and just charts that are good to look at and good to get a visual in terms of where the market needs to go. Now, we can see the market cycle, right? It's a pattern. It's always been a pattern, and we haven't tested these levels yet. And I don't think we're necessarily going to have an enormous bull run until we've tested some resistance levels for the global market cap. So this is the complete crypto market cap on the daily charts, and you can see the test. You can see how it's going, and I think we've still got a little bit of room to go in terms of a negative move in the overall market before we see a sort of skyrocket up past 2 trillion. And that'll be a great moment when it passes 2 trillion, because I reckon in a very short space of time it will pass to 2.2, 2.5. And we're starting to get close to we're almost halfway to what I think the overall market cap may be by the end of the year. I think we're looking at sort of 6 trillion. So it's good to see that there's still going to be a bit of sideways movement, a bit of negative movement. They're good buying positions. So people have been asking me, like, what's good to buy and when should I buy it? And my best advice that I can possibly provide is do what the clever people, what the big money investors are doing. The best example is MicroStrategy. They have dollar cost averaged in to Bitcoin throughout this bull run. They got in between 10 and 20,000. They got in between 20 and 30,000 a couple of times. They got in between 30 and 40,000. And they've just got in again at 48,000 because they saw a retracement, right? And I genuinely I'm certain we will see another story. If Bitcoin dips down to 43,000, they'll buy in again. Now, so if you've got $1,000 and let's pick an example, Elrond, right? I love Elrond. So let's say you've got $1,000 and you want to put it into Elrond. I wouldn't go, I'm going to put all my 1,000 into Elrond right now, because yes, it's down 8.7% today. However, the market still looks like it's got to have a pullback. So it might go down more tomorrow and over the next few days. So average into it. Split your $1,000 into 3 lots of 333,000, or sorry, $333, or split it into 4. Split it into 4 lots of $250, and just average in. Get a position today. Get a position Sunday if it's dipping again. Get a position Wednesday if it's dipping again. Get a position again on the next Saturday if it's still. But either way, it dollar costs you in. So you average in based on the highs and the lows, but you don't get in necessarily at a higher price. And that's the risk you run if you go, oh, I'm going to put 1,000 into Elrond right now, or 1,000 into anything right now. Because when the market looks like it's still got to retrace, you're going to be annoyed when the market all of a sudden drops more and you've bought in at $143 instead of 135, 130. So it's just sort of sensible investment strategies. That's what we do, right? Because we're not gamblers. We're not here to go, oh, we're not playing the roulette wheel. We're not rolling a dice. We're here as investors trying to make the best out of our money. So think on that when you're doing your investing. Last one, Cover Protocol. There's a lot of people that I know that like Cover Protocol, so let's talk about this enormous like crash in price. If you are in Cover Protocol, you might be disappointed about what I'm about to say. So obviously they've had a 34% dip. That's not unusual in a bad bearish momentum moment in a bull run. However, this dip isn't down to a bearish momentum. This is down to their ties with Yearn Finance have been severed. So Andre Cronje did a tweet today, which he deleted, but it was effectively talking about being unhappy with the moral ethics of the morality and the ethics with which Cover Protocol have acted. And he deleted it because he felt it was overly emotional, and that's not the place. Twitter's not the place for that. Although I think Twitter isn't, whereas. But he said, but he posted, I often forget ethics and money don't mix. But he hasn't actually commented on Cover Protocol in this tweet or in this thread whatsoever. But Cover Protocol's biggest selling point was that they were a part of Yearn's ecosystem, and to lose that is fairly dramatic. I will say that in the original tweet, he did say that they'd never work with Yearn, that they'd never work with Cover Protocol again. Now, that might have been anger, and that might have been the emotional response he was talking about, because he might change his mind. However, right now that's a big hit. That's a big hit on Cover Protocol, because, like I said, it was really a significant part of a Yearn ecosystem, and as you can see, the tweet after the tweet came out, it pretty much tanked. Um, so if you're in Cover, I'd be a little hesitant about staying in for too long. You might have bought in at $800, so that might feel a bit harsh, taking a hit and pulling out your investment. I'm not necessarily saying that, but me personally, I'm not invested in Cover, and I would, if I was in Cover right now, I'd maybe see if it can rally a little bit, but I'd be leaving the position, because Cover is their selling point was that they were part of Yearn, unless they all of a sudden become linked with multiple other DeFi projects in greater depth. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will leave this over the course of the next few days, and I could see the price dropping. I mean, even just how do you feel about Cover Protocol today? 2/3 of people are fairly negative on it. Obviously, that's a large part down to its value slipping. Let me click I feel good about it and see if how that affects the percentages, does it at all? Let's refresh. Because if it affects it a little bit, then we know then we know there was not that many people that voted in the first place. My upvote has not made a difference, so there's obviously a lot of people that have actually voted on their feelings about Cover Protocol. That again, that might just be an emotional reaction from people's investments, but I would, yeah, if I was you guys, if you're in Cover, I'd be looking at what they are talking about in terms of how they're going to recoup or get involved in other partnerships, because that's a big loss for them. It's a big loss for them. It's probably the big story of the day, really. So, or one of the big stories of the day. When I put this out, there'll probably be another one shortly after. It's a very fast-moving market. But yeah, anyway, if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. And remember, Copy My Crypto is live, and it's $99 a month, but for the next 6 days, $39 a month. So get in while you can. Anyway, that's it from me. Take care. Stay safe, guys.